Hello, guys. Welcome back to another episode on the show, Hidden Secrets in Books. And you guys know I only bring the best of guests to the show. And once again, today we have a very, very special guest. Today's guest is Chad Martin. Chad is an author, entrepreneur, podcast host, certified personal trainer, internet radio station owner, and former professional wrestler. Chad, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Chad, I would also like you to introduce yourself to my audience.
Yeah, that was a pretty good one. My name is Chad Martin, as you said. I'm an author of my new book I just published, Black Ridge. I'm a pro wrestler, personal trainer, on my own independent radio station, and just a man of many talents, at least I try to be. I find a lot of things interesting, and I'm happy to be here to talk to you about it.
All right. Thank you so much, Chad, for that introduction. So, I have some questions here for you, and I would like us to get into them.
All right, sure.
All right. What were those early stories like for you, and when did you realize writing wasn't just a hobby, but something you wanted to pursue for life? By the way, I love your cowboy hat.
Thank you. I appreciate it. No, I've always, I was born and raised in Texas, and, down there, grew up playing football, hunting, you name it, baseball, all the sports, all the outside stuff. But I always loved creating characters in my mind. My mom had bought me a little plastic typewriter when I was young, and I knew from the jump what I wanted to do was tell stories and write stories. The moment from reading my first Dr. Seuss book, I knew that I wanted to tell stories. And it took me a long time to get to that point, but this is where we're at now. Finally was able to do it and just pursue it.
Okay, thank you so much. So, what kept you going during all those years when success wasn't guaranteed? Those years when you look ahead and you cannot see as if something is going to happen. How did you keep going?
Well, you have to believe in yourself and what you're doing. I mean, when I was young, I probably would have quit earlier, but I mean, the older you get, the more you realize that success isn't overnight. It never is for anybody. It's just, are you willing to keep showing up and giving it your best shot? And that's kind of how it was for me. I mean, I worked regular jobs, having good paying jobs, but at the same time, I always knew the thing I wanted to do was sitting right there in front of me. And it's just a matter of being brave enough to take control of my own life and say, let's go get this thing we want to do. And so that's kind of how I kept looking at it. I always kept it in front of me.
Okay, so can you share with us how professional wrestling taught you about psychology, audience engagement, and performance that you still use today as an author and podcast host? I know you're the host of FAFO, right?
Yeah.
FAFO, does that mean fuck around and find out?
You got it. You got it.
I think I got that from Donald Trump.
Yeah, that's the one, buddy.
Okay, go on.
Yeah. But so pro wrestling is not for outsiders who've never wrestled and they don't understand it. Pro wrestling looks like one thing and they think it is this one thing. But for those of us who do it and are in the business, it's something completely different. I mean, it's a true storytelling machine where we're the storyteller and the narrator and the actor, and we're our own stuntman. It's painful, but there's a creative process that happens there that is so unique and different that it makes your creative juices continue to turn. You learn how to engage an audience and bring them in to any story you're trying to tell in that ring. And so becoming a professional wrestler almost 30 years ago now was something that just, it really enhanced my storytelling ability because it allowed me to open my mind up to the world around me and to situations that were going on. When you're younger, a lot of the time the tendency is just to stay narrow focused. Nobody can tell you anything. You've already got it all figured out. And professional wrestling teaches you do not have it figured out, that you have to learn and be willing to learn and sit down and listen. And when you start listening is when you learn the most. And I've applied that to writing, to my personal training, to my podcasting. Listening is the most important tool we have.
Okay, Chad. So what does your creative process look like? Your creative routine look like? Do you get creative from an external source? Like most people, they drink. Some people, they take substances to be creative.
Yeah, so it gets sauced up a little bit, no doubt. I don't know. My creative processes, my mind has always worked like that. I mean, I've always been creative. I've always been very imaginative. I'll tell you this, I don't like the real world. The real world sucks. It's depressing. People are terrible for the most. I mean, it's just, you can look at the real world and it bores you and it's terrible. And everybody's always trying to think, how can I elevate myself out of this? Even if it comes to like podcasting. I want to be a good podcaster, so maybe I can make money and get out of the situation I'm in. You know, there's a reason behind whatever it is that we're doing, whether it's money or whatever it is. And so that's how my process has always worked. It's like my brain's always running, and there may be a song, a snippet of a song. Somebody has said something, spoken a sentence that resonates with me, and that will ignite a complete story. I watched a documentary yesterday about the Dog Man. I don't even know if you've ever heard of the Dog Man, but it's a crazy.
Not really.
It's a crazy werewolf type of myth here in the States. And this guy had seen one. A couple guys were talking about they had seen one. They were talking about it, and it just ignited a story idea in me last night. So I just write it down, and then when I get done with everything else I'm doing, I'll just come back to it. But it can be anything that ignites that story, that gives me the idea. And then I just sit down and hammer it out. When I'm ready to write it, I hammer it out and try to find out what the story is. And once I have what the story is, the rest of it's easy.
So how then how are you able to stay consistent?
Consistency is training yourself. It's creating a habit of just showing up, or in whatever it is. Like my working out sucks. It's hard. Nobody likes going into the gym and pumping iron for hours or doing whatever it takes. It takes work, and it's easier to sit back on the couch with a bag of chips and a Coke or something. But you have to instill that yourself every day. Every day I'm going to show up for 30 minutes, and I'm going to do this. My writing is the same way. I'm going to at least write for 2 hours every day. Regardless of how much I get done, I've got to show up for 2 hours and write something. And once you develop that consistency every day in whatever it is you're doing, it becomes easier because now you're forming a habit. And once that habit forms, it really gets easier to do whatever that specific job is you're trying to do.
Okay, so what is the biggest misconception that people have about being an author?
Oh my God! Because you're talking about being on the FAFO Podcast, right?
Yeah, no, being an author.
Oh, being an author. I'm sorry, my bad. The biggest misconception is thinking it's easy until they try to sit down and start doing it. And then they realize just how difficult writing is. Creating something it's hard. And you're trying to write 300 plus pages of a coherent story and then entertain people in that story. It's not easy. Not anybody can do it. And that's why not everybody does do it. It's just a real difficult thing to do. It's hard and it takes a lot of work.
Okay, so how did you push through writer's block? I mentioned if you were taking any substance, you said no. You had some creative block during your journey, right?
Oh yeah, I had that writer's block. Oh yeah.
So how were you able to push through it?
Well, for the longest time, I wasn't. I was 14 years it took me to publish the first novel, Hale County, the one you're referring to. And that's where the writer's block came in. I could never figure out the story until one day as I knew I had to get this story done. It'd been 14 years. It was just time. I sat down and did something I never do. I outlined the rest of the book to say, hey, this is where I'm at. Where's this story going? And that outline helped me figure out what the ending was. And once I knew the ending, within 30 days, I had the book written and published. But I just had to know the ending. So the outline is what helped me get through all of that writer's block.
Okay, so has there been a character that you were writing that surprised you?
What was that? I'm sorry. It broke up on me.
Has there been a character that you were writing in your story, a character or a story that surprised you while you were writing?
Oh, yeah, they all surprised me. Because, and that's kind of the thing with writing characters. You don't want all the characters to be the same. They all have to have their own voice. And so when I write, I know who the characters I want, but who they develop into is always the surprise. It's the best thing about writing because I truly don't know who they're going to become. I know what their basic shape is of the character. Like, I know this is a sheriff, and I know he's got a bad attitude, and this is a caretaker, and he's just happy-go-lucky. But other than that, I don't know what drives them until I start really writing and getting into it. And that's the most fun part. And that's how I treat all my characters, as if they're real people. So they all end up surprising me.
Okay. So, if you could have dinner with three storytellers, living or dead, who would they be and why?
Oh, my goodness. Edgar Allan Poe would be one. And the other one would have to be, well, it could either be Dean Koontz or it could be Stephen King, either one of those or all three of those. And the answer to the question, the one question I would ask them all is what is your creative process? I want to know that. I mean, because I know what mine is, I would like to know what these giants in literature, what their creative process is. But I am especially fascinated with Edgar Allan Poe, though.
Okay, so I'm curious. People say that everyone has a book in them. A lot of writers I've spoken to on the show, they said that everyone has a book in them. Do you believe that?
Yeah, because I believe everybody has a story. I mean, you've lived life, you have a story. What your point of view is on the world and your outlook and what that story is, only you know that. I mean, and that's kind of the way with everybody. Everybody can sit down and write their own biography. I mean, and in that way, that's true. You all do have your own story. Now, is everybody a storyteller? That to me is the bigger question because not everybody is. We do all have a story, but that doesn't necessarily mean we are all a storyteller. So while I do believe we all have a story within us, we all can't tell that story.
Okay, let's talk about your podcast. You have hosted a lot of guests on the show, FAFO.
Mm-hmm.
What is one lesson that keeps coming up, regardless of the guest's background?
Well, the biggest key for me for podcasting, for my podcast especially, is you don't put people in a corner. Right? You have to let the person you're interviewing be the person. That's how I treat all my guests. It's like when you come on my show, this is about you. It's not about me. So let's find out about you. What do you like? I mean, let's have a conversation. And we talk. And the biggest lesson I've learned in talking to people is that they will tell you so much if you just let them loose and let them talk. And I love that. I love finding out what makes people tick, just how they weave whatever it is that's going on in their life, how they got to that point. It's a lot of fun learning about people.
Okay, so what have podcasting and long-form conversations taught you about human connection that social media often misses?
Social media, man. Everybody wants their fix right now. It's a quick dopamine hit with social media, whether it's TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, all these quick little reels you watch and shorts. And long form conversation lets you truly expand not only your mental capability, but your empathy and your sympathy and your knowledge base from actually having conversations with other people. Because we live in a world that's just, I need my fix right now. And you don't really get anything out of that. I mean, there's nothing you get out of a quick TikTok video other than, oh, I just watched something. What's the next thing? And there's no lasting value in that. So long form conversation is it is one of those things where it's irreplaceable. And I would encourage so many more people to try to have those because I think you come out better as a human being for it.
Okay, so you own Undefined Radio to support independent creators, right?
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
So why do you think giving independent voices a platform is so important to you? Why is it important to you?
Well, because I know too many good singers, songwriters, bands who never get the shot because when you look at mainstream music, it's all corporately driven. I mean, it's all corporately driven, whether it's UGM, Warner Brothers, whatever, Sony, it's all corporate driven. And so if you don't come in there and play their game, and even then, if you try to, it doesn't mean you're going to make it. And there are so many good musicians out here making a great living, playing in clubs and all these different venues and play good music and release it on YouTube who don't have a voice really. And so we built a platform to give them a voice to say, hey, if you want to hear something truly different and good, that's not corporately driven, come to Undefined Radio and you can listen to it there.
Okay, so you are doing such a great work, I must say. As a certified personal trainer, how has fitness shaped your mindset as an entrepreneur and a creative?
Well, look, you gotta be fit. You gotta have a strong mind and strong body. Being healthy is everything. I mean, being healthy and being able to continue to do what you love, especially as you get older. And I'm 56 now. And without being fit and without being healthy, I could not do half the things that I do. I certainly couldn't be a professional wrestler. And I couldn't be a personal trainer if I wasn't healthy enough to do it. And not only that, but when you're working out, it releases all those good endorphins and all that stuff. And so now it exercises your mind as well. So I'm able to write and have clarity. And so personal fitness and being able to be fit and healthy, it keeps you doing everything that you want to do for such a long period of time. And that doesn't happen by accident. It takes work and it takes showing up. And once again, it's about consistency. And I love it.
Okay, so personally for me, I do believe working out helps the brain to be creative. Is that right?
That's correct. That's exactly what it is. It helps it because, again, you're stimulating all that thought process. Your brain is active. And once your brain becomes active, it helps keep that creative process flowing. It keeps your mental gymnastics flowing. And that's what you want to do with your mind. You never want to keep it just so drugged down that you can't think and get through the day. And fitness takes care of a lot of those issues.
All right. Thank you so much, Chad. So my next question for you is, okay, you also write fiction and non-fiction. Which challenges you more? Is it creating imaginary worlds or creating from real life experience? I think I know the answer to the question. I think it's creating from imaginary worlds.
Yeah, I love creating more imaginary worlds. I mean, it's a challenge to do because when you're creating a world, and I'm doing that with a series of novels right now, you don't have anything to draw on. You have to create those from the ground up, which means you have to create every living thing within that from the ground up. It's unlike if you're writing about the real world, everything's already there. It's just fill in the blanks at that point. But creating something that never existed before, you're in charge of everything. It all has to make sense and work together. And that's really the biggest challenge for me. And that's the one I love.
Because I know trying to create some imaginary world, if you are not very creative, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to do that. So if you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice before starting your creative journey, what should it be?
Start getting consistent, buddy. Stop being an idiot, sitting around here and wishing for everything to happen to you, and take control of it. Because that's how my early life was, just wishing my life away. Well, I wish I already had this. I wish I could do this. I wish all this would happen to me already, instead of just doing it. Because those things that I wanted could have already been done if I'd actually pursued it and take the time to be consistent and show up and get it done. But I didn't. Like so many other people, I sat there and said, oh, I wish this would happen to me. Why can't this happen to me? And people do that every day, all their life. And then suddenly they're old and they're dead and they've not done anything because they wished it away. That's what I would tell my younger self. Get off your ass and get busy. Start now. And let's go.
Okay, thank you so much. So if every listener could leave this conversation with one lesson about writing, publishing, and being creative and building multiple business, what would you want that to be?
It's probably the most boring thing you can hear, but it's consistency. Again, just show up. You've got to make the effort. Nothing's going to come to you. So be consistent. Create you a habit of showing up. And once you create that consistency, you can apply that to every single aspect of your life. So just be consistent.
All right, Chad, thank you so much for joining us and sharing with us your knowledge and your journey from the wrestling ring to writing books, hosting podcasts, and empowering creators. Your story is a reminder that success isn't about following a conventional path. It's about embracing your passions, staying consistent, and having the courage to tell your story. On behalf of me and my audience, we wish you continued success with your books, the FAFO Podcast, Undefined Radio, and everything that's ahead of you. So before you go, how can my listeners connect with you? How can they be on the FAFO Podcast as a guest as well and get your book?
All you got to do is go to, if you want to be a guest on the FAFO Podcast or you just want to listen to it, you can find us on Spotify and Amazon Podcast, Amazon Music, Apple Podcast, all of that. The FAFO Podcast Facebook page. I mean, we're everywhere. FAFO Podcast on YouTube. Or if you want to get the book, go to Chad Martin or Chad R. Martin on Facebook. You'll find it there. You'll find me on my Chad Martin author page on Amazon, and you can get all my books and stuff right there.
All right. Once again, thank you so much, Chad. And thanks to all my audience as well. You guys are the reason why we are able to do this every time. Thank you all so much. And make sure to check out his work and check out the FAFO Podcast. Thank you and have a wonderful day ahead.
Thank you.
All right. Bye, guys.